G'day YouTube, Warbles on a lot here, 2:45 Friday afternoon. I have been to town, I have offloaded the tyres, the second trailer of tyres. I have replaced the broken adapter. I have acquired a shorter standpipe. I have filed out the 72mm hole cut by the 70mm hole saw, both sides. I have duplicated the magnet fishing success, and I'm about to put a fitting on, and then I'll do it again. While I'm doing that, the phone camera can go and sit on charge, and hopefully I'll get all this in the one video. And then I'm going to cut another hole with the hole saw and fit a Stortz fitting onto this here tank, which is a bit of an oddball thing to be wanting to do, but have a look out there. That is the smoke plume coming off the fire they lost control of this morning at Ashford. They were putting in a back burn and it got away from them. And bird dogs and heli tax and air attacks were sort of on their way there when I dropped in to talk to my son on my way through town. But luckily, the wind is fairly low, but it is coming from over there where the fire is. So I'm going to try and get some water into this tank ASAP. But it turns out that I have shot a couple of videos this morning on this with camera and this battery. So I'm going to put the camera over here on charge while I do the rest of the plumbing connecting. When it gets interesting, I'll bring the camera back over and we should have enough battery to be able to record it. Battery management is a thing. And swamp wallabies with social boundaries is another thing, or lack thereof. He's just over here for the humbug, aren't you, darling? Yeah, humbug. Let's hope they don't notice. However, the chuffs are onto it. And usually that will draw the kangaroos, by which time the bread will have been consumed and the kangaroos have already had some. They're fuel for the day. Great fun teaching marsupials the meaning of the word share and fair. Isn't it? You've had your fair share. Yes, it's Clippy's turn to have that bit of bread now. Yes, it is. Okay, 3 minutes to 3. I really must say I like this magnet fishing technique. It's absolutely foolproof as long as you get your sequence correct. With that magnet on a string, I reckon you could deliver your payload anywhere around the bottom of the tank. No drama. Just sit up here and keep swinging until your magnet runs into the nuts. It works, Kimo Sabi. It works. And at this point, all you've got to do is that. Yeah? And then make sure the rubber is in the hole. That's why they said you had to have a 72mm hole. And that's why I spent a bit of time down here with some wood rasps, making sure that the rubber would go into the hole in the wall of the tank, like it does right now. So the rubber's being squeezed between the brass and the polyethylene, and it's going to be in compression. And I'm not stupid, so I'm leaving the string in place while I assemble my components. Get out of there, you bit of silly grass. Right, and that'll go back to there, and then one on next. All the while holding tension on there so that we don't lose anything. Nothing disappears. Isn't this great? Okay, and this is a reverse thread. As you can see there, whoops, And it's not until we get the bloody thing all done up that we'd even think about removing the string. Use the ancestral Stilson's wrench to set. Oh yeah. Not really a one-handed job, this. There we go. An idea water to leak through that. So, not as silly as we look, are we, eh? And we go over to the store, where the bits and bobs one wants will be on the bottom of the pile. And verily so in the last box we look in. As it were foretold within the prophecy. What else are we going to need here? Them. And them. Gonna want one of them. And we're gonna want one of them. Yeah, I think that's about it for this afternoon's mucking around. Although I could put that on too. So what made you want to write a book about animals? That goes with that, goes with that, goes with that. Right, so magnet fishing works when you're setting up water tanks. And what have we got to do here? Right. Bugger, you just got to look at nothing for about 5-10 seconds. Having opened it up, we put it on and we check and we see that it works without fouling. Then we close it up. And because they don't make 65mm Stortz fittings like they used to, therefore we have to have a Stortz spanner and we have to have a set of Stilsons in order to actually get those off, because I haven't yet run around with emery paste and lapped in the flanges on the 65mm Stortz fittings. But some prick in Germany at the DIN factory is just not doing it right. Right, so that one's on, that one's hooked up, that one's hooked up. Put the tap on, a bottom stopcock on the tap, and then something with a piece de resistance. I didn't get the pressure relief valve fitted to the pump, but it can sit there and wait for tomorrow. The important bit is we have a Stortz fitting and a 25mm hose coming up to a Stortz fitting on a plastic mushroom with which to fill the fire tank, fire tank, I guess that's what it is. And yeah, Ashford the Lungra is still putting up a lot of smoke out there. So 20 to 6. I think I'm just going to go to town, visit some mates and come back. I don't think I'm even going to do any shopping today. I'll have to do that tomorrow. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. We're getting there. By tomorrow afternoon I hope to have 10,000, 12,000 litres in this, and the system will have started getting its upgrade implemented. Ciao. G'day, g'day, g'day again. It's 6:30. What happened is I came to my senses. I realised that it was too late in the afternoon. I'd already been to town this morning, taking tyres to the dump and going back to the irrigation warehouse and getting more supplies and come back here. And had a big day plumbing, had a fair bit of success. Didn't actually break anything or make any mistakes today. So considering it was one of those days where I sort of forgot to eat because I was too busy doing things, and I did in fact start day drinking in the middle of the afternoon. Now I didn't fuck up doing the plumbing even though I wasn't entirely totally sober. So what I did decide to do was I'll just shit can the whole idea of going shopping and going to town this afternoon, and instead I applied the magical, wonderful pink tape. Now I don't know why, but it says on the outside of the packet that it's silver grey. Teflon silver grey tape, 12 millimetres, and they love it at the irrigation warehouse. Every time you go there, they give you a free roll. And because I bought quite a bit of stuff, which I have really only but begun to dig into, they gave me a whole lot of the stuff, you know, like a bloody great big chunk. And yeah, this is where we got to today. I didn't get this fitted to there, never be mind. All done. All done. And because, like I said, I haven't yet taken emery paste to the working surfaces and finished the manufacture of the 65mm Stortz fittings, and fucking me, I've got another 2 of them to go over on the next door neighbour's bore tanks. Therefore, we have the ancestral Stilsons and we have the Stortz fitting spanner, because that's the only way to get those on and off and make an actual seal. And I mean, what's the point in having your suction hose to the pump with the 65mm Stortz fitting so it's fire brigade compatible, so there's no messing around. If something goes wrong with that one, I've got another one over there. I've got fire brigade compatible stuff, and I've got lead weighted hose for the 2 buoy walls. If you can't actually finish turning the Stortz fitting, you haven't got a vacuum seal between the 2 rubbers, and the motor's not going to be able to suck water into the pump without leaking it. So yeah, you either have to have bloody great big brute force tools and literally tear the aluminium out of the way of itself. I got in there with sandpaper, did nothing. I got in there with key cutting files, did nothing. I got in there with a Dremel and diamond bits and all sorts of different shaped diamond bits. Essentially did nothing. I locked one end in the Stilsons. I got a shift and spanner on the other end, and I used brute force and leverage, and I forced the bastard to go to where it's got to go. And yeah, the second time it was easier. Slightly easier the next time. The really big one is that first time, getting your 65mm Stortz fittings to do as they're told, to behave. And I think it's fairly disappointing, considering the price that the bloody factory in Germany charges. And that's what sets how much I get to, you know, talk to the irrigation warehouse about having to pay, because he can't sell me anything any cheaper than what he's got to buy it. And he's not manufacturing it, so it's not his fault if some penny pinching production engineer has decided to save something like about 35 seconds on each unit by not finishing the bloody thing. And they make so many of them that probably meant, you know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars or euros per year in saved manufacturing costs. And by the time they get out to the very far end of the production line, the sort of person who wants to go and buy a 65mm Stortz fitting, they're going to be the sort of person who's either A, got the bloody great big brute force machine to make it work, and eventually after you use it for probably 50 or 100 cycles, it'll become smooth. It'll wear itself in. It'll get to the point where it doesn't wear any more metal off every time you use it. It'll become more or less happy to use. Or they're the sort of person who, like myself, finds it absolutely offensive that the bloody Stortz fitting doesn't work with strong, hard grip and hand pressure, or at least with a hand holding one end and a spanner on the other end. And people like me, what we go and do is what I did over there. I applied the spanner and all the rest of it. But yeah, I'm going to get some emery paste, valve grinding paste, really coarse abrasive shit, and I'm going to very carefully smear it where it's given me the da-da dits, and then I'm going to put it through the Stilsons and the spanner, and yeah, I will make the bastard smooth. I'll make it so that if I'm in the middle of a bloody stressful moment worrying about a bushfire, I don't have to fuck around with Stilsons and the shifting spanner because some prick in Germany couldn't be bothered doing his job and finishing it. Brrr. Fuck, I like this. This is really nice. This is going to save a lot of bullshit and fucking around. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Been a big day. So it has. Whiskey is pleasant. Okay. Ciao.